Welcome to Les Girls Theater. My name is Kata Pierce-Morgan. I'm the owner of Les Girls, and we are now presenting Heaven or Hell 2, Journey of Memory, as part of the San Diego International Fringe Festival. So Minocqua, I'd like you to start back here. This is going to be the ice world that you'll eventually end in as a prisoner. But to start out the show, I want you to open up these magical curtains, these transparent curtains that the audience can't see, okay? Because you're going to be setting the space and taking them into another world. We're doing a Heaven or Hell series, which deals with the shaker mover experience in San Diego, land grabbing preachers, stormy strippers, renegade police. And so this is our second Heaven or Hell show. It's Heaven or Hell 2, The Journey of Memory. This deals with the stages of grief. Generally, our last show was a musical comedy, and it dealt more directly with the political situation. It took place in 1891 San Diego. Our next show is 1971. But this show has purpose and meaning for me because, as Kate expressed about my husband, James Morgan, who did so much to fight theater censorship and abuse of power, he just died. And he was 91. And so I decided to do a revival of the Journey of Memory, and actually it is now a premiere. We've made so many changes, and you know, we're very affected by this right now situation of grief. Originally, the Journey of Memory dealt with a suicide, and what takes place is this exotic dancer returns to the stage and encounters these ghosts from her past. And so we explore the grief that this woman felt when she had to deal with the suicide of a dancer from Les Girls. And the dancer from Les Girls is part of the politics. She was a young woman, and I was in graduate school at State, and I heard that she was being abused by the sergeant. And so I took her to internal affairs. I got the charges sustained. Some years later, she was in the backwoods of Tennessee, and she committed suicide. And that impacted me. And what was so interesting, and we explore in this show, is that she was part of a spectrum. You know, she was this orphan dancer, and then another show I did, a friend of mine was the highest ranking woman in the San Diego PD, Leslie Lord. And so we did The Mystery of Elle, which explored, you know, two women from different ends of the world, and they both committed suicide for very personal reasons. And so our show is about the stages of grief. It's a beautiful show. There's poetry, there's live music, singing, there's dance. It's an eclectic mix of contemporary modern dance, burlesque, of course, being at Les Girls.
So what do you think people's misconceptions might be coming to your show during Fringe and coming to Les Girls? Do you think some people might come in expecting something very different than what your show offers?
Well, I think they're expecting to see a Les Girls show, and they're certainly welcome to stay for the 9 o'clock show. But we're doing a show with a plot. It's autobiographical. I'm the exotic dancer who's grieving the loss of Angela, with my Catholic educated background. And I came here right out of UCLA and was shocked by what I saw in San Diego. There was so much hypocrisy at that time. And now, I'm now the owner of Les Girls after 50 years, and what's amazing is that in meeting with the police, there's so many women in power now. And they've assured me that we will not have any abuse, sexual abuse, as often took place, you know, in the past. So, people are expecting to see the dancers, the strippers, the hoochie coochie, but it's not that at all, because Les Girls is more than the show. I mean, we've held a big political footprint in San Diego, and that's all reflected in what we're doing on the stage. We can't get away from it. I mean, the building is exactly as it was 50 years ago, when my husband first founded it, in retaliation, and that's a whole different story, you know, about payoffs in licensing and how this place came about. He was a Texas Baptist politician, So Les Girls came about in a very unexpected way, and it's still here. I think we're the oldest theater in at least California, this type, burlesque. And many of the ghosts are still here. Eddie Ware and Corky Corleen and Jimmy Stein, all the old vaudeville performers he brought onto the stage when he first opened it, and that's how I came in. And so, yes, people are expecting, a certain type of show, and it has those elements. The 3 nightmare dolls of anger, rebellion, and guilt are all LG dancers, and they kind of do some exposure, as you might expect here, but we also have the Mother Superior and Habit jogging back and forth across the stage, so it's going to be a surprise, I think, from what people would normally expect here. So I'm going to start reading the monologue. One day, a young man with his possibility of dreams takes off in his boat. I still haven't balanced this world, the worlds that I live in, the academic world, the mainstream dance community world, and then Les Girls, because there is a stigma attached to it. And so I have wrestled when I promote my shows. What am I going to do? I've got this pod of 3 women dancing across the stage. What if a sailor comes in at that time? Someone expecting a different type of show. And so I never knew what to expect. Would there be a clash? Would there be catcalls? And it's never taken place. It's never taken place. Plus I feed everybody. I have a buffet, so that keeps them happy.